My name's Margaret and I'm from Sewing Machine Warehouse in Sydney, Australia. And today we're going to learn about manoeuvring curves and corners. Okay, now these shapes come up in sewing all the time. This curve in particular could be the crotch of a pair of pants. This one could be a shirt tail hem or a facing. Okay, so we'll start with that first. So this shape is easy to cut out and it's a good one to practice. Okay, take your overlocker and we'll do the outside curve first because that's the easiest. Now with this one, you always need to sit directly in front of your overlocker so you can see the area near your blade. So this is your cutting blade, and you can also see whether you're going off course. Okay, so place your fabric underneath your foot and put your hand on the fabric here and help feed with the other one. Start sewing and always make sure that your fabric is in line with the blade. If it's not, then you'll be overlocking off the fabric. So even if you have to trim slightly, that's a good thing. So take the fabric from the back with your left hand and help feed it into the front with your right. Okay, much like you're turning a record, if you remember those. Now overlock off the fabric and remember to always leave a chain that reaches the side of your overlocker. Okay, so there you go. You've gone round the curve without overlocking off. Okay, the more stitch you can keep on your fabric, the better your seam will be. Alright, so that's the easy one if you can practice that. Now your next one is the inside curve. Okay, now this one's more difficult. So get your fabric underneath your foot in line with your blade, and you'll notice that your fabric is hanging off the edge. Now you need to straighten that edge up by pleating the excess on the side, creating a straight line for your overlocker. Okay, the straighter you get that, the easier it is for you. Now remember, always keep your fabric close to the blade, even if you have to trim a little bit. So that's how much I've shaved off. Okay, there you go. You've overlocked around a curve without actually sewing a curve. Alright, so that's your first two shapes. Now this one's a little harder. Have you ever wondered how to go around a square without getting a tail on each end? We're going to do this shape and only have one tail end at the end. Okay, so now I've cut this out just to give you a different shape, but we're going to start somewhere in the middle of one of the sides. Okay, never start on a corner because it's too hard to hide. So with this one, you need to raise your foot and pull your thread chain to the back. Okay, undoing the chain at the top here where the needles are. That allows you to get your fabric underneath the foot without disturbing anything. Okay, and then put your presser foot down. So don't go past the blade, just till you meet it. So we're in the middle of one of the sides. And start overlocking. Now before you run off, you need to know that you need to stop at the end of your fabric. Okay? So create your last stitch when there's no more fabric left, and stop with the needles in the highest position. Then lift up your foot, and with your tweezers just pull that thread, creating a bit of slack. See that? This allows you to pull the fabric back, turn in direction, and reposition so that when you put your presser foot down, your needles will start to sew within that overlocked area. Okay, so as the needles come down, they're somewhere in there. Okay, and continue to overlock. Remember not to run off the fabric, and when there's no more fabric left, to stop with the needles up. Raise the foot, pull a little bit of slack of the thread, turn, reposition, put your presser foot down, and overlock again. Okay, needles up, lift your foot up, pull that thread, turn, put your foot down, and this is what's happening. Okay, you're overlocking and completely covering that corner. Okay, now this is the difficult bit. Now this corner doesn't come up very often, but if it does, this is how you do it. You pleat out the excess, creating a straight line. Now you'll find that if you've pleated it correctly, there will be an ice cream cone shape in your fabric. That's the pleat of your fabric. What happens there, you've created the smallest angle at the end, and you shouldn't pinch it too much, and overlock that as if it were a straight line. Okay, stop again. Okay, you should be able to maneuver that little pleat out, but there you go. You've turned the corner without even realizing it, and that's about as good as you'll get. All right, a little bit of pressing will get that out. Okay, last corner, needles up, pull the thread, turn, reposition, put your presser foot down. Now we're coming back to where we started, so you'll need to trim off your chain. We don't need that anymore, and put that to the side, and then continue straight, and I'll tell you what to do here so we don't trim off the ends. So overlock. Now at this point you can do a couple of things. You can slightly veer off, but that's not a good idea if you can do this. Disengage your blade, okay, just for the couple of centimeters you've got to go there, and just keep going in a straight line. Now overlap your stitching by about 1.5 centimeters. Stop with the needles in the highest position, pull that thread again, pull it to the back so it's kind of out of the way, and just make a chain off the fabric. There you go. Alright, so we have just one thread end. Now with that, take your loop turner. Now these are a good gadget. They're designed for making spaghetti straps, but in this case we're going to thread this through the back of the stitching. So turn your overlocking over, thread that through, come out where your chain is, snag the end through the loop and pull that through the back of your overlocking, and then just trim off the excess, and that's tucked it in. Okay, so it's as easy as that. So if you can practice those two shapes a couple of times, you should be able to master the overlocker a little better. Thank you.